She's the daughter of Thanos, whatever that means. We're going to look at the history of the Marvel Comics character Proxima Midnight, and then talk about how it relates to a Marvel Snap card. I'll say this real quick. I was wrong about when they all showed up. Proxima Midnight, Ebony Maw, Cull Obsidian, Black Dwarf all showed up for the first time in New Avengers number 8. They showed up in Infinity after that, but in Infinity was the first time they were named, I believe, but New Avengers 8, they do show up. Now, Corvus Glaive shows up in the prelude to Infinity issues. I'm not sure when that was released. It was like a free comic book day thing, I believe. And Supergiant. I already forgot about Supergiant. That's not a great sign for Supergiant. But basically, the Black Order shows up in this little time frame at the end of New Avengers 8 and in the end of Infinity. That's when you learn who they are. And New Avengers 8 was written by Jonathan Hickman, with art by Mike Deodato, Frank Martin, and Joe Caramagno. In these other videos, we've already described what the Black Order is. It's Thanos' mercenary army of specific fighters, aliens that he recruits to help him do whatever he wants, capture people, get weapons, Infinity Stones. They're not in the Infinity Gauntlet story. They're much more recent than that. All these guys showed up in 2013, which is interesting because they were all introduced to the MCU in 2018's Avengers Infinity War. And you'd figure like, well, Thanos has been alive since like the 80s. These guys have? Nope, they're 5 years old when the movie takes place. Not the characters in universe, but the actual characters in the public consciousness or whatever. I assume they're older than 5. We don't know. Maybe they were all grown in little test tubes. Maybe they age very quickly. It's unclear because we don't know too much about their origin. We do know one specific thing about Proxima Midnight, though. First of all, she's the only consistent member of the team who is a woman, because there are like the 4 core members of the team: Corvus Glaive, Proxima Midnight, Ebony Maw, Cull Obsidian. Supergiant starts on the team and dies, and Black Swan is recruited to the team. But like that core 4 group seem like they have like a relationship, like they know each other. And specifically, Cull Obsidian used to be into Proxima Midnight, but then Corvus Glaive was like, hey, Cull Obsidian, I'm into Proxima Midnight. It's not gonna be a problem, is it? Cull Obsidian was like, oh, absolutely not. It's all good. So those two, Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight, are married. I don't know what that means. I don't know if there was a ceremony, if they pledged their undying loyalty to Annihilus or Jesus or Thor. I don't know. But they do have a bond, and these characters do talk to each other. Sometimes they fight in the same battles, and they do work well together. They're definitely the 2 strongest fighters in the Black Order. They're really the only 2, I would say, like skilled fighters, where Cull Obsidian is your big brawler guy, and Ebony Maw is their, guy in the shadows, whispering things in people's ear. Supergiant is also that, and Black Swan is also sort of a powerhouse. But Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive are both the guys who run in with the sword and stab people. She loves doing it. It's kind of like what you would expect from any of the Daughters of Thanos, which is a group that in the introduction video to the Snap card, she's described as a daughter of Thanos. I can only find that referenced in the MCU, but I don't know what that even would mean for Proxima Midnight here. Like, it seems like that is a daughter of Thanos the same way that nuns are like some people describe nuns as like brides of Christ married to Jesus, right? Maybe that's what it is it's like a title that you take on. Like, she could be his adopted daughter, and that's how they do it in the movie, but I never get that same sense from how the Black Order works with him in the comics. I don't know. You could say she's probably in the same position as Nebula or Gamora, and they would have known each other, and they just never talked about it. Nebula's never like, Gamora, I'm so mad at you for what happened when me and you were fighting. Also, Proxima Midnight was over there, but mostly me and you. I don't know. So in Infinity, these guys go to Earth, try to get the Infinity Stones for Thanos. They all lose. Some lose worse than others. Proxima Midnight is not killed in this big fight. She survives. Her and Thanos are both like encased in amber, and she is holding Corvus Glaive's glaive. Corvus Glaive is dead. The Avengers don't know this is how it works, but Corvus Glaive starts to reform because he cannot be killed as long as the glaive exists. So he's freed. The bad guys go free, they form the Cabal, they start destroying planets, all that stuff. And she doesn't do anything incredibly significant here, but after Secret Wars, when everything in the Marvel Universe is reset, she's back working for Thanos. Proxima Midnight's there, Black Swan is there, and then this hooded figure, this mysterious woman is part of the group now, and we don't really know much about her. I mean, I think pretty quickly it's revealed to be Hela. This is Hela. And they all go try to find Mjolnir, because Mjolnir is there, and Thanos is like, I would like that. That would be sick if I could have that. And they can't get it. Thor summons it back, and they return empty-handed. And Thanos is like, gosh, you guys keep blowing it. Like, I don't know how many chances I'm going to give you guys, especially you, new person who said you would give me a tribute of death. Like, you don't even bring me the hammer. And then Hela's like, actually, that wasn't what I was planning to do. And it's like, that was absolutely what you were planning to do, but it didn't work. So this is your pivot, whatever. And she's like, I'm going to sacrifice these 2 people to you. So then Hela kills Black Swan, I assume. And Proxima Midnight. We see her fully stab Proxima Midnight. And when I say Black Swan, like it's thrown into a void or something. But either way, they're dead. Thanos and Hela make out. That's a whole thing. They all came back for the Avengers No Surrender event, where the Grandmaster and the Challenger, two Elders of the Universe, each drafted a team of villains, the Black Order and the Lethal Legion, and had them fight on Earth where the Avengers were getting involved. And like that's a whole story. It's fine. It's more of her and Corvus Glaive just doing their thing, you know, fighting, stabbing guys, talking, telling each other how much they love each other and stuff. But after that, they are free to go. They don't have a purpose anymore. And that's where you really start to figure out who these characters are in the Black Order series that came out pretty recently. And what I sense from Proxima Midnight is she is cool with killing. Her and Black Swan love killing. There's no like, oh, does everybody take me seriously? Or does like, oh, is everybody laughing at me? Am I making good jokes? No, they're just like, I love to kill. Let's go kill. This is sick. Proxima Midnight seems like she has a purpose when it comes to collecting the Infinity Stones, because when they have to decide if they're going to go after the Reality Stone when it's in Star, I believe she's one of the characters that says we should probably do it. They all eventually quit. That's the last we've seen in Proxima Midnight. She shows up in Infinity War, played by Carrie Coons, and then shows up again in Endgame. Doesn't do too much, talks, gets thrown into a big spinny blade thing. So just checked. In Endgame, Proxima Midnight survives the whole battle, but then when Tony snaps, all the bad guys go away. You can see her over on the right side of the screen holding Corvus Glaive's body. Corvus Glaive got stabbed by Okoye, which I was wrong about that in the last video. It is Okoye. And she's just holding him as they both disappear into nothingness. So that's cute. It's interesting because they do seem to like each other. And when the Black Order's a family, they're mom and dad. And, you know, Cull Obsidian is the nice, cool uncle, and Black Swan is the crazy aunt, and Ebony Maw is the weird uncle. But that dynamic does exist, and because it seems like she's just got it more together and pretty happy with this, Proxima Midnight does kind of feel like she's in charge. The only other thing I want to mention about her, because she's super strong, the same way all these guys are, she can do a backflip and whatever, she's also got a magic weapon. So she has this big spear. It's got 3 points. I don't know if there's another name for it. I don't think it's a trident. Her spear is pretty cool. It was made by Thanos. It has a star in it, so it's kind of like the way Mjolnir was forged in the heart of a star. They were able to take a star and squeeze it into the spear. She's able to throw it, and it hits whoever she throws it at. It should kill whoever she throws it at. However, there's times in the books where she's not throwing it at people and killing them because of just the book doesn't want her to immediately kill all the Avengers. But like that is how this thing's supposed to work. And it might not kill you instantly. Sometimes it kills you eventually. It can poison you. Also, it can become very dense. She's even able to use it to unhulk the Hulk. Like the Hulk gets hit by it, and then when she pulls it back, he becomes Bruce Banner, which is kind of cool. So yeah, she can alter the mass of this thing. It is a heat-seeking. Whoever she wants to hit with it, it will hit. So that's why I kind of like her and Corvus Glaive as a couple. They're similar. They have different weapons that do different things, and hers seems like it might be one of the best weapons in Marvel Comics, honestly. Like, it doesn't come up that often whenever you make the list of like the best weapons. It's like the Ultimate Nullifier is number 1, which sure, an Infinity Gauntlet, I'll take it. Then Thor's Hammer, and I'm like, I think this might be better than Thor's Hammer. Just looking at stats, what it can do, it seems like it is as good as Thor's Hammer, if not better. By Thor's Hammer, I mean Mjolnir. I know how it's pronounced. In Marvel Snap, and I'm recording this a week early, so this could be changed, but currently she's a 4 cost, 7 power, and her ability is when this is discarded, jumps to your lowest power location that is not full. So basically, I think this is pretty good. She works well with Corvus. That's her whole thing. She's a synergy card for a destroy deck. And the reasoning is, and like a lot of these guys, she dies a bunch and then comes back. Also, I didn't mention this with the Corvus one. She has a spear. He has a glaive. The rule of Snap is if you have a bladed weapon, you might just end up on the discard group. Like that seems to be how that works. Like Lady Sif, Swordmaster, Blade, a lot of sword characters end up on discards. That's probably why they ended up in that card variety. I think they work pretty nicely. I like that they work well together because Corvus Glaive just randomly discards 2 cards in your hand. And if she is one of them, that means it summons her. So Corvus Glaive becomes like a 3/12 or something like that by summoning her. And the 4/7 stat line isn't terrible. Like if you play her, it's not the worst thing in the world. But I think decks that discard do usually plan to just discard. While she works well with, it's interesting, Hela. Hela is part of the Corvus package now, and obviously she didn't work well with Hela because Hela killed her. But in this situation, if you threw her into the Corvus Hela discard package that just got created this week, she would fit right in. And honestly, that might not be where she's best utilized. It seems like in a very traditional apocalypse discard situation, she'd be very good. With the Hollow One, it's like she's going to replace another card that's a really high value card that's going to come back later. So I guess there's value like in maybe getting priority. So overall, her and Corvus work well together. I think that's the most important thing. She's a relatively strong card, one of the 4-cost members of the Black Order. So yeah, I think Proxima Midnight is a well put together card. Look at that, we finally got one. Nah, I mean, Corvus wasn't bad. And Cold Obsidian wasn't bad. I think Supergiant and Black Swan were pretty weird. And Ebony Maw just seemed like they needed a card that did exactly what he was doing. I'm going to make an Ebony Maw video later, but for now, I really want to get this Proxima Midnight one out so we can talk about her. If you enjoy these videos, share them. Let your friends know that play Marvel Snap. Let your friends know who just read Marvel Comics because they'll enjoy this too. Share this video, share it in all the forums of people that play Marvel Snap. Subscribe to the Nando Cut on YouTube, like the channel on Nebula, and then check out my other channel, Nando V Movies. That's my original channel where I make like pitches for movies about comic characters or talk about casting, stuff like that. If you want to learn more about comics, there's a lot of different ways you can watch my videos on my channel and then you'll pick up a lot of this information. And I would say as far as recommendations, I haven't really done too many with these guys because they are all kind of from the same couple of books. Infinity is a great book, like that whole run, the New Avengers Infinity run by Jonathan Hickman. I do think that 5-issue Black Order series, while not amazing, does tell their story pretty well and explains this dynamic that I do think if we stick around, like if this team is part of the Marvel Comics landscape in the future, if they don't all just get replaced, I think that's what they'll start to feel like. They will be this mercenary family who teams up with, whoever. Maybe Galactus probably doesn't hire people. Maybe like Ego the Living Planet will hire them to like do a job, and that seems to make them happy. So that's cool. But yeah, she seems like she's going to be one of the core members. Her, Corvus, and Cull Obsidian are going to be on this team forever. So thank you so much, and I will see you guys soon.